Hi everyone and welcome to a very quick video on Muet speaking part 2, the group discussion. So I'm going to take you guys through a sample situation and also a sample scope. So let's get into it. So this is the situation. So you would see this on the day of your test, your instructions. Yeah? You have 3 minutes to prepare. In these 3 minutes, I would suggest that you quickly decide on the flow and the sequence of who would speak, and also quickly decide on what is the situation, understand it together, and also the points that are given. In your discussion, you may support or oppose the other test takers' views. So it doesn't really quite matter actually whether you choose to support or oppose. It's important that you actively listen and also think about whether you want to do either. It does not affect your marks. There are some ideas in the mind map. You may use your ideas as well. So this, again, does not matter. It's important that you speak. And then at the end of the discussion, try to decide on the best suggestion. And you have 8 to 12 minutes for the discussion. So remember that these are actually all suggestions of what you do. It will not actually affect your mark. Just know that you need to speak. That's the most important thing. Yeah. All right, so this is the situation. There are a high number of road accidents that has been plaguing the nation. So in your discussion, you need to discuss ways to reduce road accidents in Malaysia. So quickly decide in that 3 minutes, understand this together, that road accidents are very high right now. And as a group, you guys are supposed to discuss the ways to reduce this. So the ways have already been given and there are 5 here. So decide quickly on who is going to discuss on which and how you are also going to pass the baton to each other. So the 5 methods given are stricter traffic law enforcement, safe driving apps, road safety awareness, mobile phone usage, and maintain road conditions. Here at the end of the discussion, you're suggested again on the best way to reduce road accidents. If you can, of course, that's great. But if you're not able to, again, it does not matter. You can have more than one. Right, so let's say candidate A has been chosen to start the conversation. Always begin with a greeting. So good morning, examiners and fellow candidates. We are here to discuss the solutions to a serious problem our country faces today. So always greet and then followed by bringing up the situation. There are far too many road accidents these days and measures must be taken to resolve this. There are a few measures to consider, such as, so bring up all the measures that are proposed in the mind map, such as safe driving apps, road safety awareness, mobile phone usage, maintenance of road conditions, and stricter law enforcement. So pass the baton by asking, what do you think is the best measure to take, candidate B? Yes, candidate A, it is indeed a serious problem. In my opinion, the most effective measure is to take a stricter law enforcement. So agree with candidate A, or rather you actually repeat what candidate A has said. This is for coherence, and then you bring up your opinion with, in my opinion. So we have traffic laws in our country to protect motorists, such as speed limits on roads in town and on highways. However, it is important that motorists who do not follow the speed limit laws are caught and fined heavily. To give an example, so that motorists will obey the speed limits as they know that there are consequences. What do you think, candidate C? Do you agree with me? So you pass the baton. Yes, candidate B, most certainly I agree with your opinion. However, there are other measures to consider as well. For example, maintenance of road conditions. While it is important that motorists obey the speed limit, poor road conditions such as potholes should be resolved as well. When drivers are caught by surprise and try to avoid the potholes, this is when accidents may occur. What do you all think about this? So you can use I most certainly agree with you, and then bring up your point by raising that there are other measures. For example, those are signposted phrases. Pass the baton. What do you all think about this? So candidate D replies, you have all raised great points and I agree with all of them. Actually, I would like to add on another modern solution to the problem, which is safe driving apps. Almost any motorist has a mobile phone on which they can download an app. There are many apps available to assist drivers, providing wayfinding and even live reports and warnings on accidents and traffic conditions. With more information, drivers are better equipped for their journey. What do you all think about this idea? Candidate A replies, Candidate D, it is indeed a good idea. However, since you brought up mobile phones, I would like to add on to that. My thoughts are the opposite on the use of mobile phones, as I believe that accidents are caused also by drivers who are distracted by their mobile phones, such as texting while driving. As a matter of fact, there are advertisements with messages to stop texting while driving. This is indication that it's a common problem. This ties in with stricter law enforcement, where drivers who text while driving should be fined. So we can link points together. So candidate C replies, while all these measures are undeniably effective, I am in the opinion that prevention is better than cure. Drivers should be made aware of road safety. It should be made compulsory for all drivers to take a road safety course and pass it before they are allowed on the road. And for drivers caught breaking any traffic laws, they should be made to attend a refresher and take the test after. So candidate B would start the conclusion, because let's say time is almost up, you would do this. I think we should come to a conclusion of some sort. Which of the measures would be the most effective to resolve the problem? Candidate A goes, I think that the best measure is stricter law enforcement. As the drivers know that there are dire consequences when they break the law, they will drive more carefully, and hence the risk of accidents will lessen. Yes, I agree with you. When drivers know that the police officer will take action, they will drive according to the speed limit and also not use their mobile phones. So you can actually also add on to a point that a candidate has actually raised. So sometimes if you find yourself unable to come up with an opinion very quickly in the exam, listen carefully to what the candidate before you says, and then you use that and add on some additional points to the same point. Candidate D, I still believe that safe driving apps will be the most effective measure, as it helps drivers plan their journey better, and they will not have to resort to speeding, and they won't be able to text with their mobile phones as they will be using it for the app. So candidate A will close. We have all raised important points and had a fruitful discussion. So it seems like we have two main measures which are considered effective, which are stricter law enforcement and safe driving apps. In view of time, we will end our discussion here. Thank you, everyone. And then everybody proceeds to say thank you and end the discussion. So this is an example and a sample script of how the flow of a group discussion would go. So some things to take note of, just to recap, some top tips for group discussion. Number one, understand the situation and points given as a group. So very quickly, all candidates need to agree on what is the situation and the points that are given. Then next, number two, decide on the sequence. Just very quickly, who starts and the next candidate and the next and until the end. Remember to use signposting phrases, which I've highlighted in the sample script. So those are some ways that you could begin your conversation. Number four, listen actively to each other and pass the baton to each other. It's important, as much as it's a speaking test, it is also important that you listen very carefully so that you're able to actually answer your fellow candidates. Yeah? And it helps that you pass the baton also. And then number five, remember to smile and to speak. When you smile, you will feel less nervous and will enable you to speak a little bit better, clearer, and more eloquently. So I hope this sample script and tips are going to help you for your Muet group discussion preparation. All the best, everyone.